Hey there, this is Dan. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm reviewing my new pack, the Superior Wilderness Designs Frameless 30. So this is a frameless pack that does not really have a functioning hip belt other than a small piece of webbing strap to it. And I bought this pack to replace my ULA circuit, which I did do a review on. If you want to check that out, click up there. I ultimately did not need all that space in the circuit, as I have started to buy lighter, smaller gear. So I wanted to get a smaller frameless pack like this that was also going to be a lot lighter for me. And I recently used this pack on my 2-day trip on the Ice Age Trail. So if you want to check out that trip, click on the link up there. Otherwise, let's dive into the pack. And by the way, this is part 1 of a 3-part series I'm going to do on this pack. So this video goes into the full review. Part 2, I'm going to show you how I pack all my gear into this pack. And part 3, I'm going to explain why I ended up choosing this pack compared to some of its main competitors. Shall we go over the specs of the pack? I think we shall. So, the volume of the pack is 38 liters in total. Now this might be confusing because they do call it the Frameless 30, but the interior of the pack body is 30 liters, the exterior is 8 liters. The total weight of the pack is 14.5 ounces. Now that is with everything attached to the pack, such as the trekking pole holders, the sternum strap, the hip belt buckle. That's about it. But you can get the weight down to a minimum of 12.5 ounces. Does that look like a 5 to you? And the recommended carrying capacity of the pack is 18 to 20 pounds. What you have to keep in mind that this is a frameless pack without a hip belt, so in my opinion, 18 to 20 pounds is pretty spot on. Shall we move on to something more interesting? Okay, let's talk about the main features of this pack. But before I do, I should mention a few of the new modifications they made for 2018. So first, they have stronger half-inch buckles on the pack. Not sure what they were using before, but now they say that they are stronger half-inch buckles, so they have that. The side pockets have been lowered a bit, so they must have been taller before. But instead of using elastic on the side pockets like they used to, they now have this cinch cord system that you can cinch the side pockets down and lock anything in place. I really love this feature of the pack. I mentioned in my circuit video that I would probably never buy a pack that does not have a side pocket system like that. I love them so much that I'm not sure if I would ever buy a pack without them. See? So I'm really happy that they added this to the pack. They also have a Y strap now on the top of the pack instead of just a single strap. They call it a V strap. I don't know. I think it's more of a Y strap if you look at it from this angle. Y strap, V strap, you decide. But in any case, they have Y strap, V strap now. That's a little bit better because it has 2 contact points instead of 1 on the top of the pack. So if you're carrying anything large like a bear canister, those extra contact points help to keep it in place. And lastly, the shoulder straps are now made of Dyneema X material. Not exactly sure what Dyneema X is, so yeah, but in any case, the shoulder straps are now made of Dyneema X. Well, that about does it for new features of the pack. Let's go into the rest of it. So the pack itself, again, is a frameless pack. There is no frame whatsoever on this thing, and it does not really have a hip belt except for this small webbing strap that doesn't really transfer any weight to your hips, but you can still use this to bring the bottom of the pack a little closer to your body so it's not kind of bouncing as you're walking. And you could also attach some hip belt pockets to this if you want to for easy access. I actually removed this hip belt buckle. I find that I don't really need it, and I always wanted to use a pack without a hip belt anyway. That's how I was most recently using my circuit, so I don't find this to be necessary. The pack is made out of X-Pac material, which is a waterproof material that's also very lightweight. Now the pack itself is not completely waterproof because they do not tape or seal the seams, so water can still penetrate through the seams on the pack. But the material itself is waterproof. Now I have seen some people seal this pack using silicone. I haven't done it. I don't think it's that necessary for my own setup. I tend to keep anything that I don't want to get wet, like my quilt or my down jacket, in a dry bag anyway inside of the pack. So anything else, if it gets a little bit wet, not a big deal for me. But that is one consideration if you do want this to be completely watertight. Now X-Pac, like most fabrics, does come in different thicknesses. The thickness for the main pack body is VX21. And then the bottom of the pack, you actually have the option of choosing either the same thing, VX21, or like I did, choosing VX42, which I assume is twice the thickness of VX21. And I did that just for extra durability. You know, I do tend to just kind of set my pack down without really thinking about it. So I want to have the bottom of the pack be a little extra durable, so that is an option that you can do. It has a huge mesh pocket on the front. Love to have that for anything I need quick access to throughout the day. It has a front shock cord. It does have dual trekking pole holders, which I removed because I never use those trekking pole holders. I always carry them with me. I would have put them back on and shown them to you, but unfortunately I lost them. It has a pretty simple compression system. It just uses these two line lock adjusters on the top and bottom, so you can cinch the top, so you can cinch the pack down from the top and the bottom. It has that on both sides. The side pockets we already talked about. They are big enough to fit a 1 liter Nalgene bottle and still have some extra space. And again, you can cinch this down to keep anything in there nice and secure. There is no back padding at all on the pack. So you do need to be careful when you're packing this pack and put softer items like your sleeping bag or your tent or any kind of a down jacket or clothing closer to your back so that it's more comfortable for you. It does have a sternum strap, of course, so you can cinch that down, and again the buckle on the bottom. So the pack is a rolls top style design, so if you undo this top strap and then undo the top, it just rolls up, and they have these two snaps that keep them closed together. Now I have heard a few people complain about these snaps. I think most of the complaints stem from the fact that they are used to the Z-Pack style where they have Velcro instead. I personally don't really have a preference either way. I think the snaps are just fine. And actually, I tend to not use them at all. It's perfectly fine just to roll it down without using the snaps. I also don't use them because I can assume that over the long term, just the act of pulling this apart over and over again is really going to put a lot of stress on this material and maybe even make it break eventually and tear. So I don't even use them. But open this up, and yeah, just a regular roll top style design. I just have a big sleeping bag in there now. The other cool thing about the interior is that it's white, so you can see anything in the pack a lot easier. Now, I know what you're going to say, Dan, the material is white, so duh, of course it's also white on the inside. But even with the black material, the interior part of it is still white. So you can still find anything that you have on the inside of the pack just a little bit easier. Then when you're ready to close it, just close the snaps, or don't, like I do, and roll this down, take some air out, and clip it, and you're good to go. Now, lastly, as far as features go, I have to mention that Superior Wilderness Designs offers a ton of customizations that you can add to this pack. So many. Check out their website for the full list of customizations that you can do. But you can also add a customization if you want, and ask them for kind of anything you want to modify to this pack within reason, and of course for an extra charge. I did not really make any modifications to this pack other than, again, the thicker bottom part of the pack. I almost wish that I did just for the fun of it, because there are so many things you can add. But I thought that the pack itself already had all the features that I really wanted and nothing that I didn't want. So the extra features that they do offer, while they're nice customizations, I just personally did not need to have any of those things. And those customizations also include different colors that you can have to the pack. You can choose either white or black for the main pack body, and then you can choose an assortment of colors for like the side pockets, the bottom, and I think a few other things. All right, on to my favorite part, my likes and dislikes for this pack. There really aren't too many, but there are a few things that I wish could be a little bit better. The first of them are the side pockets. I have a couple complaints with these side pockets. The first is just the way that they are designed. So they sew the side pockets so that the back and the front of them get bunched up toward the bottom of it. So you can see inside of there how they sew these side pockets. And the reason why that's kind of an issue for me is it takes away some of the functional capacity of the side pockets. So I can't fit as much stuff in there as you could if they did not sew it that way and just had it pulled out completely. Now, I know nothing about sewing, absolutely nothing. So I'm sure they probably did this for a good reason. But I don't know, if they could, again, just pull those out so that they utilize the full volume of these side pockets, I would very much prefer that. My other issue with the side pockets are these straps. The straps are very small, and when you pull them tight, it kind of bunches up at the front of the side pocket. So you can see that there. Now, it's not the biggest deal in the world. It still does leave the rest of it perfectly functional. But it is kind of annoying because it does bunch up a little too much on the front than it does on the back. I think if they use just a bigger strap overall, it most likely wouldn't do that, but I know they're trying to save weight, and I do appreciate that. But just a slightly bigger strap, I think would help that quite a lot. Speaking of small straps, my second dislike on this pack is the fact that they do use pretty small straps all over the place on this pack. The two areas that I have the biggest issue with are this the strap on the top of the pack, as well as the sternum strap. Now, it's not so much the small size that really concerns me. It's the fact that because they're so small, it's kind of hard to pull them. It's a very minor complaint, very minor, but it's just a little bit annoying, and I would just prefer them to use larger straps. I know that adds to the weight, and again, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to get this weight down as much as possible, but I would personally just prefer to go ahead, add the little bit of extra weight, and have some bigger straps. And my last complaint is the fact that the wait time on these packs is pretty long. It's currently 8 to 12 weeks. My pack arrived a little bit closer to the 12-week mark. Now, typically, I don't complain about that kind of thing with small cottage gear manufacturers. I totally understand that they don't have the resources of bigger shops to produce these things very quickly. And I would much rather wait to get something that I really, really love, which I do love this pack, and I am glad that I waited for it. Pretty sure it's just 2 people that are actually sewing all the packs and accessories. So again, totally understand why you have to wait that amount of time, but ultimately, I don't know, 12 weeks again is just a long time to wait. Totally worth it, but a long time. So that's it as far as the things that I don't like about the pack. Again, not too many. Let's go on to the things that I do like. My first like is obviously the weight of this pack. It is so light. Again, between 12.5 to 14.5 ounces is super, super light. You really can't get a whole lot lighter than that in my opinion. So I am so, so happy with the weight of this pack. I'm also very pleased with the comfort. I was a little worried. This is my first truly frameless pack. I have used the ULA circuit in frameless mode before, but this is truly 100% frameless, and it does not have any type of a back padding to it, but it is totally comfortable for me. Again, as long as you pack this thing intelligently, and you have a lot of the padding area on the back of the pack, it is a very, very comfortable carry. I also really like the waterproof material that they use on this pack. Overall, X-Pac is really just great. It's durable, it's light, and again, it's waterproof. I know it's not 100% waterproof because of the seams, but I find that I don't think I really need to carry any sort of a pack cover with this pack. So I love just not having to worry about that. So waterproof design, or waterproof-ishness, I should say, is great. I also really like all the little small touches to this pack. Just things that I really look for and prefer to have in a pack. Like this Y-strap design that I talked about, or V-strap. I really like having that Y-strap, the daisy chains. I think that's so much more versatile than any other type of design you can have on shoulder straps. So I love daisy chains. And even these side pocket straps, which I know I had some complaints about, but I much prefer to have something that you can cinch down on your side pockets to keep them nice and secure. So just all those little small touches I really like about this pack. I said this before, but I also really like the fact that you really have all the features that you could want, or at least I could want on this pack, and nothing that you don't really need to have. It's very simple, yet totally effective. And on to my last like, if this pack does not have something that you really want to have, they offer so many customizations. It is incredible how many customizations they offer on this pack. Again, I kind of wish I took advantage of that and had something customized on this pack, but I'm still totally happy with it. But if you're not, again, you could add whatever customizations you want to this thing. They have so many. Well, that about does it for my review of the SWD 30. Do stick around a little longer for bloopers. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, have fun out there. What word am I looking for? Hey there, this is Dan. Thank you a lot. At least without a functioning hip belt. Did this whole thing just confuse the crap out of you? I was going for the whole professor look, but I may have failed. 14? Wow, that is bad. Guess I'll start that one over. Can you even read this handwriting? Ah, dressed all fancy just for that?